try to get through this as quickly as possible. It took a little more time than I wanted to, but those videos on Nye and Clooney really kind of got me fired up a little bit. So let's go into some cooler topics. Maybe it'll cool me off a little bit here. Winter makes a comeback in the Northeast, bringing snow and record-breaking cold. You don't say. Is this a repeat from last weekend? Oh, it's not. This is new. This is coming. Earlier this week, today and tomorrow, with cooler conditions, rain, even snow in several northern locations. Many living in the Northeast experienced lower than average temperatures on Monday. A low temperature of 42 degrees Fahrenheit was recorded in New York City's Central Park, according to the National Weather Service. The temperature fell 3 degrees shy of an all-time record low for May 13th in 1895. The all-time low high temperature of 49 for May 13th, set way back in 1914, was shattered on Monday when it only climbed to 48 degrees in the Big Apple. That's 15 to 20 degrees below average. Meanwhile, some residents in the Northeast states woke up to find a blanket of snow outside their windows on Tuesday morning in upstate New York. Oh yes. Actually, I heard there were 6 inches of snow that fell in some of the upper parts of the area out here in the Lake George region, believe it or not. Most of the snow fell in higher terrain of Vermont and New Hampshire. Snow also mixed with rain across lower elevations, certain locations including Lebanon, New Hampshire. Lebanon, New Hampshire averages about 0.2 inches of snow. In the month of May, while May snow does not happen every year, it's certainly not unheard of in the area. 5.5 inches of snow since last night in Rochester, Vermont. 4.0 in Greensboro. Cabot got 3.8. Walden 3.7. Daneville 3.5. About 6 to 8 inches of snow blanketed Killington and Mount Snow in Vermont. Estimates AccuWeather meteorologist and social media manager Jesse Farrell. Snowfall will help the Killington ski resort remain in operation, folks. It's May. I know on Whiteface Mountain out here, that snow has finally melted off its trail, and that probably happened late April, early May. Look at this. Some of the record highs and lows for today. So we've seen really hot weather on this day and really cold weather on this day. Talking about the May snow record that was broke. We talked about this Monday. 117-year-old record was broken in Duluth. We'll leave the link article here on thegrandsolarminimum.com. Severe weather returns. Guys, it seems like every time I do a Wednesday or Thursday show, it's like I feel like I'm repeating myself. Multi-day outbreak, severe thunderstorms to hit the Plain States Friday into next week with tornadoes, hail, damaging floods. This is a multi-day outbreak of severe weather or roar back in the plains. Numerous severe storms are possible from Nebraska to Texas. Texas has already seen its share. This severe threat will persist through the weekend. Another round of severe weather then may follow in the Plain States next Monday and Tuesday. Tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds, and flooding rains are all threats. So here we have Thursday, possible thunderstorms on Thursday. Damaging wind gusts will be possible from Nebraska to South Dakota, eastward to the southern Great Lakes on Thursday. Friday, scattered supercell thunderstorms are possible by Friday afternoon or early evening in the high plains. From South Dakota to western Oklahoma and the rolling plains of West Texas, a few thunderstorms may also continue along the warm front draped eastward into the South Great Lakes. These storms could produce large hail, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes. Two areas of particular concern are central Nebraska and portions of western Texas and western Oklahoma. In Nebraska, the main low-pressure system will bring increased winds aloft, which should lead to numerous severe thunderstorms that are capable of very large hail and destructive wind gusts. A few tornadoes cannot be ruled out. These storms will develop late Friday afternoon, continuing into Friday night. By late Friday night, damaging winds will be the greatest concern. In Texas and Oklahoma, the contrast between dry southwestern air and moist flow from the Gulf of Mexico may be a focusing point for storms capable of very large hail and a few tornadoes. Busy weekend. Saturday, here's your threat. Once again, Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Texas. All again. Sunday moves a little bit further to the east. This is going to be the Mississippi Valley. Little Rock, Arkansas is on the edge of it. Missouri, Polar Bluff, Paducah, Kentucky, Jackson, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, and Greenville, Louisiana, I believe here. We are talking about a potential for severe thunderstorms Sunday into Sunday night. And then Monday into Tuesday, we got more severe weather and floods coming back again to the plain. This is the precipitation outlook from now through May 21st. So this is less than 7 days. The yellows are probably going to be between the 3 and 5 inch range. The dark greens are probably your 2 to 3, 2 to 4. And then your lighter greens here are probably 1 to 2, half inch. So, South Dakota, you don't need any more rain, but you're getting a lot more. Parts of northwestern Iowa, same with you. Minnesota, you definitely don't need heavy rain. You're getting it, though. Parts of Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, more heavy rain in Dallas. Very wet spring, very cool spring. I saw some comments too, guys. I know it's usually cool in the spring. It's usually moist. You're absolutely right. But it's in the middle of May, and there's places right now where the temperature in the soil is not suitable for farming, period. So I expect this cool, cold weather in April, not the middle of May. I don't want to hear that this is usual spring weather. No, it's not. This isn't usual spring weather. This much rain every day. This much flooding every day. With rare May snow, winter returns to Florida. Massachusetts, by the way. Just wanted to kind of trick everybody real quick. Another headline, though. More snow in the Northeast. May snow. This is probably the 4th record snow that we've talked about in May. An atmospheric river storm arrives in the Bay Area. I showed you guys this the other day on our last broadcast on the GFS prediction. There's that moisture heading its way. Atmospheric rivers. We've already seen mudslides and floods and floods. Talking about also, don't want to forget this. Snow in May, Sierra, another May snow headline. Up to a foot as a rare cold storm sweeps over California. In addition to the wet weather and possible record cold setting in Sacramento Valley and foothills, Sierra will see snow showers Thursday into the weekend. Temperatures dipping as low as 25. A rare mid-May storm could affect the northern central Sierra. In a special weather statement early Monday, National Weather Service Reno's office warns that snow levels could fall to 6,000 feet by the end of the week. Forecasts for the mountains and the foothills also show wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour, possible by midweek. Snowfall is most likely to begin Wednesday for much of the Sierra, ramping up starting on Thursday. Up to a foot. And where I was going with that is I wanted to talk about Oroville Dam, which we are getting ready to see them test these spillways here very soon, especially when we take a look at our GFS forecasting tool here at Tropical Tidbits. We'll get into that right now, actually. Here we go. Wednesday, May 15th. You see that low pressure system in Northern California right now as we speak. Heavy rain over the northern part of California. There's your heavy precipitation in the Sierras. By Thursday night, starting to get heavier. And rain just kind of sticking around in Northern California and the Sierras all the way through Friday. And finally, this system makes its way across the southern plains. This is where the other flooding is going to take place. So the same moisture moving across the northern plain states that we just talked about. And here we are, more moisture coming in. This is round 2 of another atmospheric river, a minor one coming through Sunday through Monday in the Bay Area and Northern California and the Sierras. This low pressure system is really getting its act together by May 20th, moving across the Ohio Valley into the Northeast, drenching the Northeast on Monday. Again, the same type of weather that we had this past Monday is repeating itself once again next Monday. 21st, storms and heavy precipitation ramps up again for Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Again, the Northwest will be inundated by a massive storm again. Rain and snow expected in the higher elevations. Heavy precipitation falling across the Midwest. This low pressure system is consistently dumping rain across the northern plains and then kind of fizzles out as it gets towards the Northeast. Now, the only reason why it's not getting as heavy towards the Northeast, in my opinion, is it's a lot cooler. And there's more warmth and heat in the central plains that's fueling these storms So therefore, we are seeing a lot more intense rainfall, more wind, possibility for flash flooding, severe weather, and tornadoes. So from this midweek all the way until next Friday, we are going to have a very active weather pattern. And then we get a little bit of a break here for a couple days into Saturday, May 25th. But once again, the Central Plains will be inundated with moisture and continue to see chances of showers off and on all the way through the end of May across the same exact areas over and over again. So Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan, Wisconsin, watch out. Also the Northeast, you'll be getting your share of precipitation as well, but we're only talking about in a small scale of, maybe 1 to 2 inches. Now look at this, guys. It's early, but we are looking at the potential of our first possible hurricane of the 2019 season. A very early system is now beginning to kind of show its face here on the GFS. May 31st, let's take a look at the next run here. So this storm kind of gets a little bit more organized. Now, what does our ocean temperatures look like right now? Is it going to be warm enough at this point? Let's find out. So this is going to be something to watch, guys. Early June, late May, give or take a few days. This system down here is definitely something to keep an eye on. Again, it's very early. This is 15 days out, 16 days out to be exact. So I always use the GFS forecaster here for just a hint, an idea. And when I look at the patterns and I see what's happening in our forecast, this gives me a good idea of the trends that we're possibly going to see. And absolutely, we're going to see more flooding in the Midwest and the northern plain states. Texas is not going to get as much as we thought, but they're still reeling from the flood damage they have right now. They're still looking at 2 to 3 major systems moving through Texas still in the next 2 weeks. But what this GFS tells me into the future after 10 days is that the pattern that it's holding has been kind of right this year, and that is we are going to be wet. The Northeast, the Midwest, the Plain States, Southern Plain States, and Texas. And now California and Northwest. So we continue to see this trend of constant and persistent precipitation. And this just shows you how much moisture is being brought with each system. I want the total. Here we go. Wow. Look at that. So the only corner in the part of the United States that's not getting rain is supposed to not get rain in the desert for the most part here, Arizona. That's about right down here, guys. Let's move that up a little bit. Look at this. 4.5 inches of rain throughout parts of the Northeast, up to 5 inches of rain. Pennsylvania, western Pennsylvania, almost 5 inches of rain. Again, we see some shades of yellow popping up here in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa. That's the 10-inch to 12-inch range of moisture. Same in the Sierras, darker purple, oranges, and yellows. In just 2 weeks, we're going to see a foot of rain in Northern California. So, and then of course you got this system down here where it's dropping over a foot of rain right now with this storm system, and it looks pretty productive if you ask me. So, a lot to keep track of here in the next couple of weeks. Believe it or not, we're halfway to June. We're almost in the summer season. And that's why I'm kind of making a small deal about it being cool and wet still. Like usually by this point of May, even up here in upstate New York, it starts to warm up a little bit. Today was nice. It got about to 61. Not bad. It's been 52 for the high for the last 3 days. So I'll take 61. But again, we should be well into the 70s at this point of the year. Especially being closer to the East Coast. We see a lot more ridging now, a lot more of a heat up along the East Coast than we see inland in the Northeast. And, we were talking about this a couple broadcasts ago, the end of the month. We got a really big heat wave coming to the south. Right now, this is definitely a moderate spring at this point in the GFS. And we don't really start seeing summer-like heat being produced until right about here, the 15th, which is right now. Starting to crank up a little bit in the south. Ohio, you're starting to see some nice weather. Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia. Some more normal-like weather, but the Northwest, the Northern Plains, and the Northeast still struggling. Now, it says here on the 19th, 84, and the capital region of New York, I think that's overdoing it. 68, 60.
Can you scroll up and show Florida if people want to know?
Oh, that's coming.
Okay.
So here we are. This is where the heat wave begins here in the south. Around the 18th and the 19th. Basically on the 20th of May. We start to see this heat wave begin. And as we get closer to May 21st, even heating up even more. More 90s. In fact, Florida, you're going to be inundated with a 90-degree weather mark by the 21st of May. And this heat wave is going to continue to the 21st, 22nd, 25th. Here we are at the 26th, 27th. This is an official heat wave, folks, for Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, the Panhandle of Florida, and Central Florida, possibly even into Miami, the southern region. This is at least lasting 8 to 10 days of temperatures in the high 80s and the low 90s, folks. So there's the answer to your question. Is the water warm enough for a hurricane? You're damn right it is. And the heat is intense. So in some parts of the country, we're talking about, come on, it needs a warm. I mean, look, May 31st in the capital region, it's only 71. 71. 60 degrees in Washington and Oregon. 67 in Northern California. 75 in Springfield, Ohio. The Buckeye State, Columbus, 75 degrees on May 31st. Southwest Ohio, 76 degrees in Cincinnati. Guys, we're in the 80s at this point. So there's a fine line. And again, this goes back to the moisture. Where is all this moisture going to be at? Right here? Yeah, right in here, up in here, and back in here. And this goes back to my theory about moisture has a cooling effect. And we get a little bit of a break here in the south for a few days at the end of the month, too. We're not getting that heavy precip that we've been seeing out here the last several days. It's not a coincidence, folks. It's science. Real science. Pretty much. There's our ocean temperatures. El Nino. Let's zoom in and look at this. Boy, we're starting to struggle again. We start to see temperatures around Hawaii warming up a bit, and then it's starting to cool back down again. This was more yellow than it usually was. Even here in the center, we're starting to see some lighter shades of red. El Nino. What we like to call it here at the Grand Solar Minimum. North Atlantic below baseline. El Nino still below El Nino conditions. It is currently neutral, folks. El Neutro. That's what we're going to call it now. And some of these people are saying we're going to see El Nino effects all the way through late summer, early fall. Yeah. They also said that they had a 90% shot of seeing El Nino happen in November. Zoom in real quick to the Gulf. It is heating up, guys. So I think it's a real storm to kind of watch right now. So this is something we'll start to focus on here at the Grand Solar Minimum. This is our possible first named storm of the year. Who knows? This model could fall apart in 3 days and completely dissipate. So we'll keep our eyes on that, folks. Mari, I want to bring you over. Say hello to everybody real quick before we sign off for the night. It is about that time.
Hi, Jake.
Hello.
Hello, everyone in the chat. It's been a busy bunch in the chat. First off, we have our friend Ian.
Of course.
He was on a egg and bacon kick, and he said that you're on a roll. A bacon and egg roll.
I love bacon and eggs.
He's really all about that. We have Farmer Matt. He's reporting in from Illinois. He says it's wet. Only 15% of his crops are planted. He's 44 and have had wet springs, slow planting, but never like this. Worst he's ever seen.
We heard that last year too, by the way. So it's continuing to be more in frequency. Go ahead.
We've had several people, the conversations during George Looney and Bill Nye.
Yeah, George Looney's about right.
It was pretty interesting. Let's see. I'm just gonna go through. Scott Bros, thanks for the super chat. We really do appreciate that.
Thank you,
Scott. Paula talking about the Looney and Lie clan there.
I like that.
When you have no argument, you call names if you're 9 years old.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So that's spot on. There's so many people with it. It's hard to choose without taking up so much time. A River, Jeff, he's out near central Kansas. River just south of him is usually a small creek. Last week, it was a mile wide.
Wow. And
flowing over Interstate 35 Turnpike. That highway is now washed out, closed indefinitely until repaired. So, yeah. It's so fascinating to hear from people from all over what their experiences are. Terry in Kansas, she's popping in a little late. They've been getting a lot of rain. It actually was dry today, and she's been busy outside gardening. So it's been a good show, Jake. We've really enjoyed the content.
Mari, you ought to.
I don't want to brag about all the links I helped.
I was going to say you should also consider putting a video together with all the greatest clips from Lie and Looney and Crazy Cortez, and just put together like this collage of all these BS-ery
just
statements.
A video of lunacy.
My goodness, you could probably make a half-hour-long video out of it.
The thing is, these people are all paid actors, and it's sad that people actually don't put it in that perspective. They're just paid actors to who knows who's paying them, but they're just there to collect the dough, really, for show. So, what a mess.
Collecting the dough for show.
For show,
Who else rhymes?
I don't know. I didn't even know
somebody else rhymes. Who does that?
Anyway, like that.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight at the Grand Solar Minimum channel. We hope you got something out of the video tonight. Please stay tuned for the weekend. Mari has got a wonderful treat for us all. She's breaking these videos down for us for Scott Chapman's presentation. It was almost 3 hours long, but we kind of cut out the fat, and we're bringing you the meat of the bone. And it's going to be a 9-part series that's going to start airing this weekend. So we hope you guys enjoy all of that. We will try to do a show on Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. If not, I'm sure we'll find a way to premiere a couple of these live so we can kind of chat with you guys and have a little talk. That's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we will talk soon.